So what a beautiful morning it is. Absolute. It's not a bit like November, is it? But I'm not complaining. I'm absolutely delighted, and it's lovely to see you all. So there was a university in a certain town, and they got a new president. And this president was renowned for his intellectual ability and his knowledge, and he must have read every book under the sun. And then a little while after he became president there, he began going to the local church. And the pastor there found out who he was. And so to impress him, the pastor, unlike me, began really preparing a beautiful sermon for every Sunday, and reading all kinds of books and quoting from different authors, doing great research in order to impress this very intelligent professor. And he kept doing this for a while, and then one day as they were leaving church, he said to the professor, "Can I ask you something?" He said, "Which of my sermons impressed you most that you kept coming back every Sunday?" And the professor looked at him a bit puzzled and said, "Oh no," he said, I don't understand what you're saying. I come here every Sunday because a little old lady who sits down near the back of the church, I normally sit beside her. And if I happen or have to miss an odd Sunday, when I return the following Sunday, she always says to me, 'Oh, you weren't here last Sunday. I missed you. I missed you.' So you never know. It's the little things in life, the little things in life that really matter. Can you remember when you were a child and you were often threatened by your parents? What? Yes or no? Yes. Well, anyhow, like a normal kid, I hated vegetables. And every day, during lunch, my mother said, "If you don't finish all your vegetables, you'll end up in hell." And if you were in Africa, you'd eat them. So I say, "Mommy, but I'm not in Africa." And I thought, as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old kids, but what's the point? I'm going to go to hell anyhow, because I don't like vegetables. And so that was the threat. Now, apply that to ourselves. The gospel you've been listening to this morning is probably the most important gospel in the New Testament, and the most beautiful and the most simple. And what's the one thing that we remember? The threat. The threat at the end of the gospel, where we're told Jesus separates the sheep and the goats, and so the goats are going to hell and the sheep are going to heaven or to an eternal reward. And we forget all the other things in the gospel. And 4 times in the gospel this morning, Jesus, 4 times, which he never did in any other gospel, points out what you do to any brother or sister or the least person you meet. He didn't say, "It's like doing it to me." He didn't say, but he said, you do to me. That's very important to realize that. He didn't say, it's like doing it to me, but you actually do it to me. So the gospel this morning is so simple. So simple that we really only remember the last bit. And so a lot of people, many people like ourselves, if you ask people, why do you come to Mass on a Sunday, or why do you try to live a decent life? And most people would reply, because I don't want to go to hell. No, I want to save my soul. Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I could not bother getting out of bed to save my soul. Doesn't motivate me at all. Not at all. Because to me, that speaks of selfishness. But I feel in my heart and in my soul, I could do anything for love of Jesus. For love. Not to save my soul. Not to get to heaven. Not to get a higher place in heaven. That might shock you, but that's me. But I could do it for love of Jesus. And it also explains something that people ask time and time again, and we all have difficulty in putting it in simple language and in a nutshell. It explains and gives us a wonderful meaning of the kingdom of God. Now, most of us, when we hear those simple words, the kingdom of God, do we not think of the afterlife? We think the kingdom of God is heaven. No. Totally wrong. So if the kingdom of God is not the next world or life after this world, what is the kingdom of God? And we're told, Jesus told, I've come to establish a kingdom. And the kingdom is, if you listen very carefully, when I love you, any one of you, no matter who you are, what you have, where you come from, no matter what size or shape or anything else you are, when I reach out to you in love, and you reach out to me in love, that, and if the whole world were to accept that, look at what a beautiful world it would be. Wouldn't it be an absolutely beautiful world if today everyone in the world were to love one another, care for one another? Would it not be a beautiful world? And all the hate and all the anger that we are experiencing at the moment would be gone. That is the kingdom of God. Does that make sense? That's putting it in a very simple way. That was the kingdom that God came to establish in this world, not in the next world. And also, God never fails. God never fails. So, will that kingdom eventually happen? And the answer is yes. How come? Because, again, something that I absolutely believe in, because I see it happening. No matter how bad things are, God never lets anything go to waste. And out of badness and the worst possible things, God always ultimately brings good. And so hopefully after this morning, you'll stop worrying about all those things that Jesus never bothered mentioning. Because most of us worry about, the odd little lie. We're totally, I was going to say screwed up, but it's not the right word. But anyhow, we're totally screwed up about sex. We really are. No, seriously. For most people, it's the only thing that matters. So Jesus, he rarely mentioned it. It wasn't worth, in his opinion, it wasn't worth mentioning. But he said, then the only thing in life that matters is love. Nothing else. When are we going to get that into our heads and down into our heart? That's all that matters. And that's what comes through in the gospel today. Simple, simple, simple love. Simple love. So we all need to really change our whole attitude about a lot of things in life. And try your best to be kind to one another. Not to be, it's so easy to label people and stick labels on their forehead and categorize them. We're all different in one way, and in another way, we're all the same because we're all absolutely loved by God. And that bit at the end of the gospel this morning, I think, was put in there by Matthew to give us a kick in the backside. So don't concentrate on the threat. Concentrate on love. And if you do that, you'll be on the right track. You'll be a sheep. You won't be a goat. So let's stand now.